Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Financial Affairs and Energy Resources Council approves the amendment plan for financing the budget deficit for the current year. The Sultan Qaboos University Council approves amendments on some articles of Academic Association Agreement with the National Defense College. The Minister of Health announces 739 new confirmed COVID-19 cases and 1,467 recoveries. And the implementation on and follow-up unit Tanfeed continues its efforts in focusing on a number of commercial projects. Good evening once again, live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. Here we present to you the details of this news bulletin. The Financial Affairs and Energy Resources Council approved in its fourth meeting of the year the amendment plan for financing the budget's deficit for the current year. The Council discussed the memorandum on global oil prices estimates and their trends on the short term and their possible impacts on the general budget of the state for the current financial year. During the meeting, it reviewed the financial performance indicators till the end of last April, including the achieved actual oil price, actual revenues and expenditure and deficit levels. The meeting also discussed latest global economic situations and impacts of expected economic decline of the world economic growth on national economy and public finance. The meeting was headed by His Excellency Darwish bin Ismail al-Balushi, Minister responsible for financial affairs. The Council of Sultan Qaboos University approved amendments on some articles of Academic Association Agreement with National Defense College in a way that serves the interest of both sides. This came during the board's fourth meeting of the current academic year. It also approved the introduction of doctorate program in English language teaching methods at the College of Education in order to prepare leading cadres in the field of English language curricula and teaching methods in the Sultanate. The Council also agreed to introduce Master in Sciences program in Accounting and Finance at the College of Economics and Political Science. The meeting was chaired by Her Excellency Dr. Rawia bin Saud Al Busaidia, Minister of Higher Education and Chairman of the Council. The tax authority has issued a decision to impose a selective tax on sugary drinks by 50% starting from the 1st of next October. According to the decision, the sugary drinks which are subject to the tax include juices, fruits, drinks, sports drinks, prepared and canned coffee and tea drinks, or any drinks that contain sugar or any of its derivatives or other sweeteners, concentrates, powders, gels, products that can be transferred to sugary drinks. The list exempted some products such as 100% fruits and vegetable juices, milk and dairy products if they contain 75% of milk nutrition supplements, and drinks specialized for special nutritional and medical uses. Public Authority for Social Insurance Board reviewed during its second meeting the indicators for the general trend in the third phase for Strategic Plan 2021 to 2025. The indicators aims at implementing the principles of strategic planning in line with Oman Vision 2040. The Council also reviewed some studies on the financial standing of the institution and institutional performance indicators for the past period of this year, as well as the status and performance of some investments. The meeting was headed by His Excellency Sheikh Abdullah bin Nasser Al Bakri, Minister of Manpower and the Chairman of the Public Authority for Social Insurance. Consolidated efforts continued to push forward towards achieving economic diversification through distribution of projects on various sectors. Implementation and follow-up unit Tanfeed has worked since last year until Back to work is a further step of hoping the best to come. These are important instructions that will protect you from the coronavirus. Wear a mask while leaving your house. Make sure that you follow proper procedure for both wearing and removing it. Keep a physical distance of at least 2 meters away from others. Follow the main hygienic procedures of washing hands and sanitizing from time to time. Avoid using elevators as much as possible, and if you decide to use, keep the physical distancing from others. Gatherings of any type in entrances, waiting rooms, offices, meeting halls, and prayer places are forbidden. In case of suspicion or appearance of any symptoms of the disease, you should immediately contact the bodies concerned specified by the Minister of Health. By adhering to these instructions, it will assist you in preventing from contracting the COVID-19. A new hope for Oman is indeed in our hand. Stay safe. The Minister of Health announced 739 new confirmed cases of COVID-19, which brings the total number registered in the Sultanate to 26,818, including 119 deaths. The Minister of Health stresses that 1,467 cases have been recovered, which brings the total number of recoveries in the Sultanate to 13,264. Still to come in our news bulletin. The wilaya of Al Khabura is rich in many historical landmarks.
Non-compliance with the directives of the Supreme Committee dealing with coronavirus COVID-19 exposes you to risk and legal action. Stay safe.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, Chief Scientist of the World Health Organization (WHO), gives news conference on research and development for COVID-19 vaccines and therapeutic treatments.
Look at all the evidence that's out there. We do what is called a pooled analysis or a meta-analysis, and then there's a guideline development group that's already set up for COVID-19, which will look at the consolidated evidence on hydroxychloroquine, on lopinavir, ritonavir, on remdesivir, on dexamethasone, and make recommendations as to whether people should use it or not use it. Where there's a lack of evidence, we say there is still a lack of evidence and we're waiting for more trials. As far as the use of hydroxychloroquine for prophylaxis or prevention of COVID-19, either before or after exposure, the last word is not yet out. I think there are some good and big trials going on, and we hope those will be completed so that we will have the kind of evidence that we need to make sure that patients receive the drugs which help and do not receive drugs which do not help. There are countries which have made their own national guidelines, and they are free to do so. We have what is called off-label use of drugs. We have a scientific brief on our website which describes how can countries use drugs which are not yet indicated for a particular purpose. So that they have that degree of freedom, but hopefully all countries will have evidence-based guidelines. As more and more evidence becomes available, these treatment guidelines should be refined to reflect the state of knowledge and the state of science.
Chief Scientist from WHO. The World Health Organization (WHO) said that the total confirmed COVID-19 cases worldwide exceeded 8.06 million with 440,290 deaths. The United States remains to be the worst hit on the country tally, with nearly 2.2 million confirmed cases with 117,694 deaths. New York remained the hardest hit state with 30,939 fatalities. In the United Kingdom, 144 COVID-19 patients died as of yesterday, bringing the total death toll in the country to 42,153. The COVID-19 killed 28 more people in the past 24 hours in hospitals in France, bringing the country's death toll to 29,575. Germany confirmed 8,830 deaths. Russia reported the total death toll is 7,478. The United Nations Human Rights Council yesterday held the urgent debate on racially inspired human rights violation system, racism, police brutality and violence against peaceful protest in the follow-up to the killing of George Floyd in the United States. Here is a report.
On May 25, Floyd, a 46-year-old African-American, was killed by police in Minneapolis, Minnesota, during an arrest for allegedly using a counterfeit bill. Participants attending the meeting agreed that the death of Floyd, which violates the United Nations Charter, is not an isolated case, but exposes long-existing and deep-rooted racism, police brutality, and inequalities in the United States. At the beginning of the debate, they bowed and observed a moment of silence.
It's unacceptable to still have to be talking about and fighting for equality for some people after the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which proclaims that all people are born free and in dignity.
United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights emphasized that the wave of protests since the killing of George Floyd had been truly global, and encouraged the Council to heighten its focus on racism and racial discrimination, saying that George Floyd's killing has become emblematic of the excessive use of disproportionate force by law enforcement against people of African descent. The High Commissioner said that decisive action is needed not only to reform law enforcement agencies, but also to address pervasive racism problems. In a pre-recorded video message, Philonise Floyd, brother of the late George Floyd, urged the UN body to investigate U.S. police brutality and racial discrimination by requesting the establishment of an independent commission of inquiry to investigate police killings of black people in America and the violence used against peaceful protesters.
In the middle of the street in Minneapolis, with a crowd of witnesses watching and begging them to stop showing us black people the same lesson yet again: black lives do not matter in the United States of America.
African representatives voiced their serious concerns over the killing of George Floyd at the debate, at the end of which a resolution is expected to be adopted.
Now to North Al-Bulletin, Wilayat of Al-Khabura hosts one of the historical landmarks represented in antique houses, a mosque and a graveyard located in Hajar al-Sinanat. Remains of houses and the old alley still stands as a testimony to the interaction between man, land and heritage. Though the area is vacant for residents, locals still goes to this area to tend to their farms, benefiting from the abundance of water and enjoying their times under the shade of trees. Moderate to heavy rains fell over the Wilayat of Yanqal in the Governorate of Al-Zahira, which led the number of wadis and their territories to overflow. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Financial Affairs and Energy Resources Council approves the amendment plan for financing the budget's deficit for the current year. The Sultan Qaboos University Council approves amendments on some articles of academic association agreement with the National Defense College. Ministry of Health announces 739 new confirmed COVID-19 cases and 1,467 recoveries. And the implementation and follow-up unit of Tanfidh continues its efforts in focusing on a number of commercial projects. And with that, we do conclude this news bulletin brought to you live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman Television. Thank you for joining us and good night.
تغفو أعين الناس وتستريح، إلا ثلة منهم ظلت ساهرة مستسهلين المصاعب، متحدين بذلك كل المتاعب. هنا من يحضر الدواء، وهنا من يخفف العناء، وهنا من يسعف الأرواح. بقلوب مبتسمة ونفس راضية، عزما على كبح جماح الوباء. فشكرا لكم، أنتم جنودنا في الخفاء. فشكرا لكم يا حراس العافية.
في ظل الزيادة في عدد الإصابات بمرض كوفيد-19 في السلطنة، ولتسهيل التواصل ومتابعة المرضى ولرفع جودة العمل، فقد دشنت وزارة الصحة مؤخراً نظام تقصٍ وبائي قائماً على تقنية الذكاء الاصطناعي، والذي سيسهم في الحد من انتشار المرض، كما سيتيح لعامة الناس في المرحلة المقبلة من تقييم حالتهم الصحية وتوجيههم للمؤسسات الصحية في الوقت المناسب في حالة ظهور أي أعراض عليهم.
يعمل تطبيق ترصد بلس على متابعة المصابين والمشتبه بهم سواء كانوا بالعزل المنزلي أو المؤسسي، كما يتيح التطبيق خاصية التبليغ الذاتي عن الأعراض التي يشعر بها الشخص بواسطة الكاشف الطبي. يحتوي التطبيق على العديد من الخصائص من ضمنها الإحصائيات والتثقيف الصحي وغيرها. يمكن تنزيل تطبيق ترصد بلس عبر متجري الآبل والأندرويد وموقع وزارة الصحة الخاص بكوفيد-19.
بعد تشخيص المريض وإدخال بياناته في نظام ترصد بلس، يتم تفعيل نظام الكاشف الطبي والمشرف الطبي، حيث يعمل نظام المشرف الطبي على تتبع الحالات جغرافياً لمعرفة مدى التزام المرضى والمخالطين بتعليمات العزل الصحي، وذلك من خلال وضع السوار الإلكتروني وربطهما بالهاتف النقال للمريض. ومن أجل حماية المجتمع سيقوم النظام بتنبيه الشخص في حالة وجود سوار ذكي بالقرب منه، وذلك في حالة تفعيل خدمة تحديد المواقع في تطبيق ترصد بلس.
وفي حالة التزامك بإرشادات العزل الصحي، فإن هذه التقنية ستكون حجة لك لا حجة عليك. وعيك وقاية.